Hey guys, it's Michael. Today is your Monday, June 29th, second stimulus check and stimulus package update. We have a lot of information to cover. In today's video, I'm going to go over reports on more shutdowns and tighter restrictions, new data from the Bureau of Economic Analysts on why we need to continue the $2,400 per month stimulus payments. Then we're going to get into some stock market news and big movers there. And finally, important reminders for this week and what you need to make sure you keep an eye out for with regards to unemployment data and meetings between Congress and the Federal Reserve. But before we get started, I wanted to announce that we're doing another $50 free stock giveaway. All you need to do to be eligible is like the video down below, be subscribed to the channel, and comment down below the 3 stocks I mentioned at the end of today's video. If you don't want to enter, you can still go ahead and get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400 right now when you download the Webull investing app using the link down below. Anyways, let's jump right into it. Let's first go over what's going on with states reopening and more restrictions being put into place. So, Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top infectious disease expert, told CNN on Sunday that an eventual vaccine for the virus may not be enough to achieve herd immunity in the United States. For those of you who don't know, herd immunity is when 70 to 90% of a population get the virus. Then they develop the antibodies and essentially become immune to the virus, so it won't spread as quickly. So for example, if 80% of a population is immune to a virus, 4 out of every 5 people who encounter someone with the disease won't get sick because they already have the antibodies for the virus. So ultimately what he said in this interview is that even with a vaccine, if not enough people take it, we may not be able to achieve this herd immunity and we still may see the virus continue to spread rapidly. Health officials are imploring young people to wear masks and practice social distancing as the virus transmission among younger Americans continues to drive the record numbers. Right now we're seeing record numbers all across the US in states like Florida, Arizona, Texas, South Carolina. All of these states are seeing record numbers, and this is mostly being driven by cases from young people. In Florida, where the 7-day average of new cases has hit new highs for 21 days in a row, the governor of Florida said that young people who ignore social distancing rules were largely to blame for the rise in infections. Those are the people that they are seeing mostly reported positive for the virus. Cases in Florida have surged 5-fold in the last 2 weeks. And in addition to Florida and Texas shutting down bars over the weekend, another state has been added to this list. With rising number of cases in California, the governor of California has shut down bars in some areas of the states, including Los Angeles. So this is important because we're starting to see more restrictions all across the US. More bars, more restaurants are being forced to shut down again. So we'll keep an eye out on this moving forward. Next up is the Bureau of Economic Analysts, the BEA, released data on Friday on personal income and how the $600 per week and $2,400 per month stimulus payments has affected personal income and the economy in general. According to the data, it showed that the extra $600 in weekly stimulus or the $2,400 per month, which is set to expire at the end of July, boosted incomes in the United States by a total of $842 billion in May. The report explains how ultimately the economy's growth will continue to be tightly constrained by insufficient demand for goods and services. So they're saying by cutting off a policy support that helps households maintain spending is a terrible idea, both for these households' welfare and well-being and also for macroeconomic stabilization. They said that by cutting off these $2,400 per month payments would be a terrible idea because then it would cut off money people are getting, first of all, and second of all, then people wouldn't be able to spend money in the economy. And they said the one way that you'll see economic growth is by more money being spent in the economy. It goes on to say that anything that promotes household spending and prevents households from cutting back on spending actually promotes growth in the economy. So whatever policies are passed, whatever the government decides to do, as long as it keeps households from cutting back on spending, as long as it promotes spending in the economy, that will be good moving forward. The report goes on to talk about how these enhanced unemployment benefits, these $2,400 per month benefits are, by definition, laser targeted on households that have suffered a severe shock to income by losing their job. Spending falls much faster in those households where they lost their job and they don't have a steady stream of income. That makes sense. If people don't have a steady stream of income, they're not going to be spending as much money. So ultimately what this report says is that by targeting these people who are unemployed and by giving them monthly stimulus payments, well, then that will be able to target the people who are spending the least amount in the economy. And by doing so, that means that we'll have more money being spent in the economy, and that will be good for economic growth moving forward. They said if we cut this off, it would simply be a terrible idea, and then we would see a retraction and we would no longer be seeing growth for a little while. Next up is over this weekend, the total number of virus cases topped 10 million cases. And out of these 10 million cases and 500,000 deaths, the US represents 25% of all deaths and all cases around the world. And to make things even worse, according to analysts, the cases that are reported in the US are actually 10 times higher than what is currently being reported, because not everyone has access to getting tested and not everyone is getting tested. So they say that while we do represent 25% of the world's total cases based on the numbers reported, we're likely to have 10 times as many cases as what's currently being reported in the US. Finally, before we get into the stock market and important data and meetings that are taking place this week that you need to keep an eye out for, Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar warned on Sunday on NBC's Meet the Press that time was running out for the US to curb the spread of the virus as cases are starting to rise all across the country, specifically in the south and western parts of the United States. He said, "We've got the tools to do this, but the window is closing. We have to act, and people as individuals have to act responsibly. People need to social distance, they need to wear face masks, face coverings, and individuals need to act responsibly." What Alex Azar goes on to say is that he denied that states reopening was the problem. He said the problem wasn't that states reopened too soon. He said that the problem is that there was inappropriate individual behavior. He said individuals did not follow the guidelines and they didn't wear face coverings, they didn't social distance. He said the problem wasn't that states reopened too soon. The problem was that individuals didn't follow any of the rules that were put in place. However, he did point out that now we are in a much better position to help control the spread of the virus because we have an increased capacity for testing. We have more treatments, contract tracing, and supply of personal protective equipment and hospital capacity. He says we're in a much better position than we were a couple of months ago in regards to testing and controlling the virus, because at least we have more systems and more things in place right now than we did a couple of months ago. Now let's get into the stock market. A couple of important things going on here. So stock market futures at the time of recording this are up right now, even though cases are spiking. But get ready for a roller coaster of a week in the stock market, as there's going to be a lot of data and meetings taking place this week. Any good news can cause the stock market to jump up a couple of percentage points, and any bad news can cause it to drop significantly as well. So we'll have to keep an eye out for these meetings. David Hunt, who is the president and chief officer of PGIM, said on Bloomberg TV that the recovery is going to be much slower and much more uneven than most people believe. He said the markets are priced right now for a V-shaped recovery. The markets have gone up significantly, and the way that the markets look, you would expect a V-shaped recovery. But he says they don't think that that is very likely. They think the stock market right now is overpriced, and they think it is too high because we're not going to see this V-shaped recovery that everyone is expecting. And then finally, let's get into a couple of important reminders for this week. So on Tuesday, the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell and the Secretary of the Treasury Steven Mnuchin will be testifying before the House Financial Services Committee. They'll be talking about the second round of stimulus checks, the economy, and everything else going on right now in general. The second important thing to keep an eye out for is on Thursday, the monthly U.S. jobs and unemployment report will be released, and we'll see what the unemployment numbers look like for the month of June. And that will also have big impacts on what will be decided and what will be included in the next stimulus package. And then the final thing to remember is that Congress leaves for the July 4th recess this week, and that they're not scheduled to come back and have any official debates on the second stimulus package until July 17th. So anyways, that is your Monday, June 29th, second stimulus check and stimulus package update. We covered a lot of information from states reopening, new restrictions in place, the $2,400 per month stimulus, and a lot more. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Now let's get into the 3 stocks you need to comment down below to enter today's $50 free stock giveaway. So the 3 stocks you need to enter is 1, which is Facebook, and the stock ticker symbol is FB. The second stock is Twitter, and the stock ticker symbol is TWTR. And the third stock is HubSpot, and the stock ticker symbol is HUBS. So make sure to comment those 3 stocks down below, like the video, and be subscribed to my channel. Don't forget to get your 2 free stocks valued up to $1,400 when you download the Webull investing app. Join our Power of Finance investors group if you're interested in the stock market, investing, or how to make money in general. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like the video down below, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.